Can I first of all ask each member on committee to briefly introduce themselves? Thank you. Starting.
Councillor Dave Parkins, Vice Chair of Planning at Hyndburn Borough Council, representing Huncourt Ward.
Terry Hearn, Councillor for Baxenden.
Councillor June Harrison of the Barnfield Ward.
Councillor
Cathrat, representing Baxenden Ward.
Councillor Abdul Khan, representing Central Ward.
Councillor Jane Battle, representing Church Ward.
Councillor Judith Addison, representing Emmanuel Ward.
Councillor Stephen Button, representing Altham Ward.
Councillor Paddy Short, representing Peel Ward, Acton.
Councillor Stuart Eaves, representing St Andrews Ward, Oswald Whittle.
Councillor Kate Walsh, representing Rishton Ward.
Councillor Tim O'Kane, substituting for Councillor Melissa Fisher, Clayton Moors Ward.
And myself, Planning Chair, Councillor Eamon Higgins, Huncourt Ward. Okay, I think that's it. No one else? Okay, thank you, members. We'll move on. Don't forget to go back onto mute after you've done your introduction. Thank you. Agenda item number 1: apologies for absence, substitutions, and declarations of interests and dispensations.
Thanks, Chair. We've got apologies from Councillor Melissa Fisher, and Councillor Tim O'Kane is substituting for Councillor Melissa Fisher.
Thanks, Rachel. Agenda item number 2, minutes of the last meeting. To submit the minutes of the Planning Committee held on the 24th of February 2021 for approval as a correct record. And I recommend the minutes received and approved of as a correct record. Do I have a seconder, please?
Seconder, Councillor Parkins.
Seconded by Councillor Dave Parkins. Thank you very much. Agenda item number 3, Town and Country Planning Act, planning applications for determination. Application 3A 11200318. That's Watmore, Altham Business Park, Altham. Full major, variation of condition number 2 of planning permission under section 73 of the Town and Country Planning Act. So I'll now hand over to Liz Thornberry to present to the committee.
Thanks, Chair. Just checking you can all see that.
I can't see anything on my screen, and others are indicating.
I can't see anything.
No, I can't see it.
No, nothing.
Okay, give me a second. Try again.
That's better. That's better, Liz.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes, that's the better.
I can.
Oh gosh,
I can't see a presentation. Oh, there it is.
Is that it? Brilliant. Right.
Yes, it's there now.
Okay, this is planning application 1120. Sorry, I'll just whiz back up there before I start. Is that the first slide, just to check?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. If you put it on full screen, Liz, I think it'll.
Oh, I don't know how to do that, to be honest.
I think it's that one there. Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Then we just click through. This is application 11200318, which is land at the rear of Watmore, Altham Business Park, Altham. It's a major application for variation of condition number 2, pursuant to 11170536 under section 73 of the Town and Country Planning Act 1990. This application, if you recall, came to the last committee, but unfortunately, due to the lack of broadcasting, we're having to look at it again today. Members therefore will have seen the report in detail, so I'll only keep this brief and to the point for you. The site is located partly within the Greenbelt to the east of Altham Lane. The Section 73 application seeks to modify the shape and position of the building on the site and also to make changes to the elevations. As a result, the building will be moved further south into the Greenbelt than was previously approved, due to the presence of a high pressure main beneath the site and the associated expense of building the building in the original position. The height of the building remains the same, but there will be some small changes to the elevations. The building is basically being flipped and will move its mass more into the green belt. The parking area will now be on the other side, on the industrial estate side. An objection to the application was originally received from the council's ecology advisor, but those matters have now been dealt with and addressed by the applicant by working with officers, as set out in the committee report before you. There have been no further objections to the scheme. The committee report has considered the changes in the application in detail. The Town and Country Planning Consultation England Direction 2009 requires that the local planning authority consult the Secretary of State should the recommendation to be approved be upheld by committee. If members of the committee are minded to resolve that planning permission is granted for this amendment and the Secretary of State does not call in the application for consideration, then planning permission can be then issued. Therefore, officers recommend that planning permission is granted for the proposed development subject to the conditions set out in the committee report. Officers also request delegated powers to the Chief Planning Officer to finalise wording of the conditions attached. I'll just run through the presentation for you. You can see the red edge there with the application site, just to the side of the existing WAM development. The red line across the middle of the site will show you the green belt boundary. So area B lies within the green belt and area A lies within the existing industrial estate. The black dotted line is the site boundary. This is a landscape layout which shows you the landscaping element that's going to be put around the building to help sort of blend it in with its surroundings. And you can see there along the boundary at the bottom there's some landscaping to sort of integrate it and blend it more into the green belt. And we've just got some views here of the site. That's the hedgerow that runs through the site and has the pressure main underneath it, roughly in the same area. Another view there. Okay. I shall just shut that down. Okay, Chair, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Liz. So I'll now just throw it open to members. If any members have got any questions or want to comment, raise your hand, please. Councillor Dave Parkins, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I can't see a problem with this. It'll cause more employment, which it will, although he's sneaking into the green belt. I think the applicant's done everything possible what can be done, along with officers. And at the end of the day, I think it'll be a good development, and I'll be supporting this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Parkins. Any other member wish to raise their hand to comment? Councillor Tim O'Kane.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Agree with Dave, it makes sense. The applicant has obviously had a look. They realise it is a slight infringement into green belt, but common sense has to prevail in situations like these. They're building over a gas main or slightly adjacent to it. It's not as though anything else could be put in the place. It's in the middle of an industrial area. So, you know, for all the common sense reasons, it gets my vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Kane. Any other member, please?
Amen myself, please.
I'm sorry, I can't see you on my screen. Oh, you come up there, Steve. Councillor Button, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I mean, I'm the councillor for Altham. I did support the application previously. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to green issues. I don't have a problem with this. It is in my ward, as the two former councillors, both Dave and Tim, have iterated. It's a minor infringement. It does look like the company putting the planning forward are doing everything to make that no impact really, and the ecologist has also said the same. So I'm quite satisfied that not only will it be a good development for the borough, but there won't be any particular issues relating to green matters. So I'm very happy to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Button. Councillor Parkins, did you want to come back in? Your hand's still raised.
Yeah, just since Miss Thornberry's presentation, she took everything off, and there's a big thing on my screen now with envelopes on and Word and everything. I don't know whether it's.
Yeah, it's on mine as well. I think.
Liz, can you remove it, please?
That's better.
Has that gone? Sorry about that.
That's gone. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Any other member wish to make comment? We're all done. Okay, so we'll go to the vote then. And like I said earlier, rather than raising your hand, Rachel will call out your name, and if you could simply answer for, against or abstain, I'd be very grateful. I'll hand it over to you, Rachel. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Okay, Councillor Eamon Higgins.
For.
Councillor Dave Parkins.
For.
Councillor Judith Addison.
For.
Councillor Jean Battle.
For.
Councillor Stephen Button.
For.
Councillor Stuart Eaves.
For.
Councillor Abdul Khan.
For.
Councillor Kath Pratt.
For.
Councillor Paddy Short.
For.
Councillor Kate Walsh.
For.
Councillor Terry Hearn.
For.
Councillor June Harrison.
For.
Councillor Tim O'Kane.
For.
Thanks, Chair. That's everybody for.
Thank you very much, members. Okay, that's clearly unanimous, and that's being carried. Thank you very much for that. Okay, agenda item number 3B, 11200413. This is the Cabin End Hotel, Windsor Road, Nusden, in Oswald-Twistle. Application for a full major demolition of former Cabin End pub to be replaced with 100% affordable housing scheme comprising of 4 times 2 bedroom semi-detached houses and 16 apartments. So again, I'll hand over to Liz for a presentation to members. Thank you, Liz.
Thanks. Give me 2 seconds just to find the right slide. Sorry. Oh gosh.
Liz, if you just try flicking through the slides by pressing the arrows, you should find it.
Sorry, Simon. That's the January. Could you find it? Because I can't find it on mine now. Sorry.
Liz, do you want me to do it?
Do you want to pop it in through the chat? Yeah, that's easier, isn't it? Sorry, Rachel. Brilliant.
That's
What I'll do, is everyone seeing that?
Yes.
I'll do the
Yes.
presentation. I'll read out the presentation and then we'll go through the slides. It's probably easier that way.
Okay.
Okay, so this is planning application 1120-0413, the Cabin End Hotel on Windsor Road, Nudston Brook in Oswald Twistle. It's a major application for the demolition of the former Cabin End to be replaced with 100% affordable housing scheme comprising of 4 two-bedroom semi-detached houses and 16 apartments. Members have also received an update sheet for this application which needs to be considered alongside the Planning Committee report. This application is brought to Planning Committee as there will be a requirement for a Section 106 to be signed, should it be approved. The site lies on the corner of Windsor Road and Cambridge Drive and currently has the Cabin End Public House on the site. The proposal is to erect 4 two-bed semi-detached houses and 16 apartments. 8 of these can be accessed with a wheelchair and parking is provided within the site. Each unit will also have dedicated spaces for cycles. Public consultation has resulted in 3 objections. The committee report notes 2, but there is an additional one with no additional points raised for the reasons that are set out in the report. Consultation with Lancashire County Council Highways, Lead Local Flood Authority, United Utilities, Environmental Health, Parks, HBC Ecology, Regeneration, Police, Fire, Education and the Coal Authority have all been undertaken with no objections received. Conditions as noted in the report have been included. There's also an additional condition from the Lead Local Flood Authority who also haven't objected in the update sheet. The agent has demonstrated the public house has been marketed for over 12 months as required by policy DMA to the DMDPD and officers are satisfied that this policy has been met. Traffic regulation orders have been secured on the corner of the site to discourage parking on the road and this has been agreed with the agent. £10,000 has also been secured from the applicant which will be spent on open space provisions in the vicinity of the site. That will be secured through Section 106. Bin provision has also been secured at the applicant developer's cost in line with the council's policy. The proposed scheme is on previously developed land within the existing urban boundary in a sustainable location in a predominantly residential area. It's got high quality residential development, will improve the existing appearance of the site and make efficient use of the land. In assessing the application, the policies of the development plan and other relevant local and national policy considerations have been taken into account. Officers recommend that the permission is granted subject to a Section 106 as set out in the report and the conditions set out in the report and the update sheet. Officers also request that delegated powers be given to the Chief Planning Officer for final wording of the conditions. Okay, so if you just move to the first slide, Rachel. This shows you the location of the site. You can just see it in the middle of the slide there, but on the next slide is a bit of a closer image. If you can, with the red edge there, you can see it on the corner of the 2 roads. The next slide will then just show you the site layout. So the semi-detached properties are at the top of the site with the apartment block down along Windsor Road. The parking's within the site as well. Next slide shows you the landscape layout. So some trees to be added. You can also see the trees at the top of the site as well, and some parking within there. Parking is up to standard. I think there's 14 spaces in the site and there's 2 spaces for each of the dwelling houses. The next slide I think gives you more of a detail on the landscape plan. You can see the garden areas there for the houses, so they've got good sized gardens. And then the next slide I think is, sorry, that's repeated, just the landscape plan again. This is one of the houses. You can see the semi-detached houses. They do meet with the requirements of the room sizes. You've got 2 big double bedrooms there in those houses. The next slide will show you the elevations again. So the materials, there's a condition on to confirm the materials prior to commencement of works. They did submit a black and red scheme, which I didn't think was too ideal for the area, so we're going to negotiate in terms of materials when we get to that stage. The next slide gives you the footprint of the flats, so you can see there they're good sized flats. And then I think we've got the first floor of the flats as well, showing the 1 bedroom there with a living area, kitchen area, and obviously the bathroom. And on the next slide is the ramp. There's a ramp to access with disability. Like I said, half of the flats are actually accessible through wheelchair, which is great. And then we've just got some site sections. And finally, we have got the elevation of the apartment. So there's some pitch in the roof, which just breaks it up a bit and gives it a bit of interest for the area. Okay, and that's that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Liz. Yeah, looking at those slides, it's a derelict site. It's been eyesore now, and just looking at those plans, they look quite interesting. Them and especially being affordable, and I dare say that should this be approved, I'm sure there'll be no shortage of people wanting to live there. It's quite a nice area, and there's amenities just across the road, shops and a local store, etc. So yeah, so for that reason, it'll be getting my support. But I'll throw it open now to members. If any members wish to ask a question or pass comment, then please raise your hand. Councillor Stewart-Eaves, please.
Thanks, Chair. Obviously, I've talked to the two of the councillors in St Oswald's. The building is in a really bad, dilapidated state, and it's not going to get any better than what it already is. Breweries weren't willing to touch it with a barge pole at the minute, and I don't think anyone could open it up independently due to the cost of what it would be to bring the building up to a suitable standard. Therefore, I will also be supporting this application.
Thank you, Councillor Eaves. Councillor Terry Hearn, please.
Thanks, Chair. Just checking. I noticed 16 apartments, only 4 houses. But of course, these are for disabled. Normally, are they? They wouldn't be just on the. They wouldn't be out for rent to anybody.
It's rent to anybody, but they have got the ability to. For half of the apartments, have got wheelchair access.
Does that mean that? I just wonder why the ratio is 16 to 4.
It's probably down to viability of the site in reality.
Right, fine. The other, can I just ask, when they say 100% affordable, what do they mean by that?
All the properties will be rented out at affordable rent levels rather than private rent levels.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Liz, can I just come in there, please? Just to clarify, clear up that point. The wheelchair access, does that apply to the semi-detached houses or the flats?
It's the ramp on the flats.
It's the ramp to get into the flats. I see. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So it's okay. Smashing. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Dave Parkins, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, what Councillor Eaves said, totally agree with him. And at the end of the day, it's on a brownfield site, which it is, which I'm glad. We've just passed one finishing green belt, but that's another reason. But at the end of the day, I think it'll enhance the area somewhat. There's bus transport links and everything there, from Blackburn Road to Blackburn, Burnley, whatever, to Rishton rail station, whatever. So, yeah, I'll support this application, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Parkins. Councillor Kathleen Pratt, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just have concerns over the number of properties being built on that area. It doesn't seem rather a large area to take 16 flats and is it 8 semis? I just wonder whether it's a bit crushed.
Liz, do you want to come back in and answer that question, please?
I think it's in line with the correct sort of layout. They're only 2-storey flats, they're not 3-storey, so they've stopped at 2-storey, which is good because that's more in line with the area. And obviously you've got parking and gardens provided, so I think that they're at an okay density. In terms of the flats, we do have the policy that keeps the flats within the town centres, and this obviously isn't in line with that policy, which is one of the reasons it came to committee. But the way that the council's going with that, as it's set out in the report, is that the emerging sort of policy is that if it's in a sustainable location, that flats would be acceptable. So because of this location, because of the great bus links, the shops and the sort of play area, which is a few hundred yards away, it's in a great location. So that's why we've accepted it.
I just think the ratio seems rather high for flats to houses in a residential area.
Are we okay?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, we haven't got any policy in terms of how many flats can go on in a particular area. The room sizes are in line with policy, and we've accepted the location because of the sustainable sort of links it's got.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Pratt. Let me just see who Councillor Abdul Khan, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be supporting this one simply because Cabin End, although once upon a time it was thriving, was generating plenty of money, plenty of revenue for people and the local government. With the state that it is in now, I suppose anything else will be better, and especially when we're building or supporting a development for affordable homes. Just a follow-up question to what Terry said. I know you mentioned that the flats will be up for rent. What about the houses, the semi-detached? Will they be for sale or up for rent only?
I believe they're for rent as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Khan. Councillor Judith Addison, please.
Thank you, Chair. Following on from what other colleagues have said, I mean, I think a pub like the Cabin End, which has been closed for a long time now, they were typical of an era in the late 60s and early 70s when on the housing developments they would build a big kind of a pub cum nightclub. Also at that side of Blackburn, others might remember the Rovers Return and the Set End, and these establishments were all the rage at the time. But the social scene has changed since then, hasn't it? And there isn't the same requirements. And pre-COVID, certainly, a little gin bar had opened across the road on the parade of shops, the Nusden Tap, which was very popular, so probably will reopen. So I see no point in having a derelict building there. It's not a building of character, it's not a historic building, it's just looking a mess now, and I think we can only welcome affordable housing coming onto the site, and it's within easy access of bus routes and facilities, a local primary school at the top, so I can only think it would be a good thing to have this housing development there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Addison. Councillor Kathleen Pratt, your hand's up. Did you want to come back in?
Sorry, Chair, I forgot to take my hand down.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Councillor Tim O'Kane, please.
Right, thanks, Chair. Somebody's doing their washing up, are they? I never thought I'd see the day, and I found myself voting in favour of pulling a pub down, but that day has arrived. The with Liz's comments, I'm not really surprised that during the last 12 months that nobody's had a look at it, but I believe it was going on for long before that as well. My own personal memory of it is I'll be faintly glad to see the back of it, because the last time I was photographed there was as the mayor doing a radio interview with a giant pepperoni. So for that reason, I think it's a good idea. It's a sustainable development, and it's on a bus route, which is an important thing for a lot of people to be able to access new properties. So all in favour.
Thanks, Councillor O'Kane. Any other member? Any other member wish to pass comment before we go to the vote? One person's raised their hand, but it doesn't. Oh yeah, Councillor Jean Battle, please.
Yeah, thank you. Just to support this development, we're in need in Hyndburn of good social housing and also good access buildings for disabled people. We don't seem to have many, and I think this will be great on that area. Like Tim, I've known this building for many years. When I was mayor in 1996, it was a thriving community centre. In the afternoon, the people on the estates went to it, and it, like everything else, it's died. So nobody wants it. It's an eyesore, and this is a great improvement on the area and great for people who want good rented social housing. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Battle. Are we through with comments, or is there anybody else wants to pass comment? I see no further show of hands, so we shall go to the vote again. Rachel can come in and she'll call your name out, and if you can simply vote for, against, or abstain. Thank you. I'll hand it over to Rachel.
Can we have a mover?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I move the proposal. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second the recommendation.
Councillor Parkin, seconder. So thank you. Okay, I'll hand it over to Rachel now, and we'll vote on it.
Thanks, Chair. Councillor Eamon Higgins.
4.
Councillor Dave Parkins.
4.
Councillor Judith Addison.
4.
Councillor Jean Battle.
4.
Councillor Stephen Button.
4.
Councillor Stuart Eaves.
4.
Councillor Abdul Khan.
4.
Councillor Kath Pratt.
4.
Councillor Paddy Short.
4.
Councillor Kate Walsh.
4.
Councillor Terry Hearn.
4.
Councillor June Harrison.
4.
Councillor Tim O'Kane.
4.
Thanks, Chair. That's all 4.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Again, that's a unanimous decision. So the application is now carried. So that concludes this afternoon's planning meeting. Thank you very much for everybody for attending. If we can just wait 15 minutes before saying anything, and then we can all switch off and carry on with our evening. But thank you very much, everybody.